to the Do It All Dad Year podcast, dad-friendly entertainment for you and me. Controlling our kids through comedy can make our kids great again. And this is episode 41. The stay-at-home dad, nanny hater. This is me pitching my 7-year-old daughter on my father-son cooking show, Double Talk with Chef Samuel. Matilda, what if daddy became an internet cooking host prop comedian? Teaching kids the joy of pretend cooking. We'll get your baby brother, Chef Samuel, fake tattoos. It will be a hoot. My daughter replies, whatever. Just bring home some bacon already, Dada. And I'm not talking about the veggie kind either. I read blogs about marketing and online conversion is the least sexy, non-asked for admission. Then I only watch the Super Bowl for the commercials. Harley Davidson is heading to Silicon Valley. Hunter S. Thompson is better off dead. Even fake news fro Colin Kaepernick agrees. I assume he's boys with Benicio del Toro, considering his affinity for Che Guevara hoodies. Hey now. I hate getting asked for ID with my 3 kids at Target. It makes me feel like a teen dropout mom from Tallahassee. What do you think my profile headline says on LinkedIn? Crystal meth homemaker? I know my son is gorgeous because he always gets confused for a Blake Lively baby. Joe Rogan interviewed Elon Musk this past week, and they puffed a monster blunt together. So this is Joe Rogan interviewing Elon Musk. Tesla, SpaceX, self-driving mail trucks. Out of all the stoners in the universe, folks, you can't accuse Elon Musk of ever mailing it in. This is a follow-up question by Joe Rogan interviewing a blazed Elon Musk. Can you invent a self-driving vacuum cleaner for stoners already, Elon? So I don't have to hire an illegal and be paranoid about my white privilege? Hey now. Sorry about that, folks. That was gross. That was definitely the first documented burp on the Do It All Dad Year podcast. F you, Child Services. It's a true story. A boner, for the first time ever on my 3 kids. We're in bed reading them stories. From what I remember, I was actually reading them from the Marvel Encyclopedia, which is a pretty cool book. Cost a pretty penny, but definitely worth it. We were learning about the Punisher, because I showed them the opening scene to White Man Can't Jump, and one of the brothers in it is wearing a Punisher shirt. I never even noticed that before. So, and I always told the kids that I was into Punisher comics when I was younger. So, we learned about the Punisher. So, that's what we were doing. And so, I'm reading them from that book, and a boner emerged out of nowhere in front of my 3 kids. And I thought it was the funniest thing in the world. After I stood up and, it was still standing. Yeah. So, and of course, just to make this very clear, I'm not Woody Allen over here. This was not a sexual thought, produced hard-on. It was one of those, tired or risen ones. Later, I explained it to my daughter. I explained to my daughter the emergence of my hard-on as a spontaneous awakening. Yeah. And my daughter laughed a long time. True story, by the way. So, again, this episode is called The Stay-at-Home Dad Nanny Hater. So, why did I come up with this title? Well, to make a long story short, my daughter started Kung Fu this week, and my son started pre-K again. And they're about, 17 minutes apart, and I still have the other boy, Chef Samuel. And we're going to be starting that cooking show that I referenced before. And the new theme of this podcast is make the best of what's around, in honor of the great Dave Matthews, who's good friends with Adam Sandler, by the way. And so there was a situation where it's that last sweltering day of summer, and I'm in the car nonstop, not complaining about it. But my wife, she usually works nights, and she had a day where she had this meeting that it was only a once-a-year meeting, but it extended longer than she anticipated. She wasn't able to call me or respond to my text in time. So in the end, I just had to make a decision on the fly saying, okay, I'm going to call Matilda school, tell her that mommy's not going to be home to greet her by the bus, and I will pick her up at school. And that's what I did. So obviously I don't want to leave my daughter stranded, but it just got me thinking, like, I can't wrap my head around the fact that I'm going to be able to find a nanny that, is going to be, so flexible with her time that we're going to be able to lean on, so my children aren't abandoned at school, and because, my children are not grown teens, and uh, I don't even have like a walking path for my daughter to even like walk home to school in the first place. And again, we don't have grandparents anywhere near where we live. We've got virtual grandparents on both sides of the fence. So, with all of that said and done, and with me being really excited about this father cooking show, me making a decision to start making money off of selling essays and short fiction, dealing with modern parenting themes to various parenting publications, and to like really make a success out of my blog and start focusing more on that, but starting a new one called the Double Talk with Chef Samuel, where I had a lot of success on Yelp before, but in this case, I'm going to be reviewing the performance of the family dinner that follows after we do the presentation on the cooking show about the show that we're going to create. But it's not going to be that boring cooking show where we're going to show every step of the way. Instead, I'm going to like handle like a bowl of burrata, and we're going to use props, and we're going to act it out, but not like actually do it, and have some fun with imagination, and be a creepy, not annoying Pee Wee Herman in the process. And then we'll have the recipe on Instagram later. But the review will also be a review where I'm going to give perspectives from like my children as well. Now, if Chef Sam really loves the meal, we're going to call it a double fister. If he hates it, we're going to call it a yuck yucker. So we're going to have a lot of fun. And we're also going to spotlight a lot of their stuffed animals. We've got great nicknames, like for Curious George, we call him Nana Breath. I can go on and on. But we're going to have a field day with this, folks. It's going to be a lot of fun. And I was just reading this book about how to make money on blogging, and the message is you got to make sure that you can bang out at least 100 episodes, no problem. And as long as I'm providing a new do-it-all dad lunch, dish, or an easy-to-make dinner meal, it's going to be no problem doing that. But the entire point behind it is for do-it-all dad, I want to inspire do-it-all dads to assume control of the kitchen and not just like let the wives handle that department, because it is a great opportunity to bond. And more importantly, it's a great opportunity to get close to your children by knowing that you provided all of the groundwork that enabled that beautiful meal. Where because I used to hate it when my parents at dinner they would just talk about their boring jobs, and it wasn't engaging at all. It was just all about them, and I don't want to do that. So I want to. I've already done a pretty good job of teaching my kids to point out not just highlights of their day, but to really like expand upon like their opinions, and to defend them, and to point out things that are funny and to explain why. I read a long time ago that that's what the Wayans brothers used to do. They basically it was like comedy camp, and they would watch movies like Airplane, and they would dissect why certain things were funny. So doing a similar something here, folks. So when I mean controlling your kids through comedy, and eventually I'm gonna write a book on this, we're gonna be the way I plan on controlling my kids through comedy even more so, especially as they get older, is by involving them in comedy, magic, making, creation. And you're going to see that firsthand with Double Talk with Chef Samuel. I've included, my children in doing some like intros to the podcast here and there, but this is going to be much more involved, much more hilarious. So stay tuned to that. But like that's how I came up with this title. And God bless my wife. I was talking to her last night. She loves this new game plan. She just wants me to start making some money. So we will do that with the parenting essays, with the short fiction. There's a will, there's a way. I'm off Twitter now for good. It was a nice one while it lasted. And obviously it produced a plethora of jokes for this podcast that I plan on turning into a one-man show eventually. But we can't get... I refuse to participate in that screech fest anymore. In the end, it does me more harm than good. And again, prevents me from really getting as deep as I want, as deep as I want to be. So, but let's get back to the stay-at-home dad, nanny, hater material, because in life we have a kid. I'm taking a sip from a beer right now. The only reason why I'm drinking a beer, this beer was actually reserved for me completing the podcast, but I had a complete technical glitch and none of it got recorded. So I need to catch a breath because I'm starving right now. I plan on making an artichoke dip with some feta that I had to butcher prior, but I can't make that right now because my kids are out of the house with my wife, and this is ideal productive time, and I need to calm my nerves because I feel like I'm in college all of a sudden, where you spend all night trying to write that thesis, and then all of a sudden it got deleted and you got to start from scratch. Not that that's so much the case here, but I still got upset. It's my last beer in the fridge. Going to be taking a break again from the beer during this Rosh Hashanah period that leads up to Yom Kippur, and a little bit longer. So I'm going to savor this Victory Front beer just for a second here, folks. It's absolutely delicious. They make great beer. They're in Pennsylvania. Huge fan. And actually, they have this brewery in Kennett Square. Definitely one of the best burgers I've ever had in my entire life. It's known as the mushroom capital of the world. So, of course, they got like bomb shiitakes on it. But I'm not going to. Maybe we get Victory to be a sponsor of the show down the road. But I'm going to take one last sip of this delectable, not too overtly hoppy Front IPA, and we'll get to this stay-at-home dad, nanny, hater material. Beautiful. So here we go. And again, stay-at-home dad, nanny, hater, and this is my important point before, folks, is that, people will tell you, like your mom, that, well, other people, have jobs and, they work on the side. I'm like, well, what do you know about anything creative, number one? First of all, you act as if I haven't done that before. Third of all, you're not giving us any money, so you don't control anything anymore. Make that abundantly clear. So, also, I resent the fact, again, folks, I've spent the majority of the time with my newborn son, Samuel, more so than my wife, and I've spent more time with him, more than my other kids combined, because I was working when Matilda was going to daycare, when I was working for VH1, and Arthur was also in daycare, was working for Robert Half, as was Matilda. So, I am very close to Samuel, and he's definitely the happiest baby of the bunch, if that's even possible. And I firmly believe it's a direct result of all this wonderful time with Dad, and who wouldn't be perpetually giddy. Also, what's really comical here, folks, is that my son, whenever I'm not looking in the past, will always grab a double IPA or a French press coffee, and end up finding him taking a sip. Obviously, I'll take it away from him, and usually, and after he does it, I'll say, Samuel, what do you have to be so bitter about? Especially when you're blessed with those chosen curls, you're harassed everywhere you go. Last time I checked, you don't have virtual grandparents on both sides of the fence that really making no concentrated effort to be a more steady presence in your life, to make life easier for daddy, yours truly. So, chill out already. So, again, I have incredible animosity at this, pressure to just dump off my son with some stranger, because that's what people always did, and that's what people are supposed to do. And, again, I started this podcast to put a spotlight on the remote work movement, which I truly believe is the last frontier of the American dream. And I do want to spotlight people that are doing that. I get it. Spending too much time with a wife can be excessively annoying, but it's worth it. In comparison to having to endure stupid cooler talk at work and share Taco Tuesdays and working with Millennium Musketeers who can't stand, and incessant sexual harassment, charges for some girl that is just jealous of you, that wants to be with you, and due process doesn't exist. Fuck that. Yeah. So And then, the commute and the Metro North and, like, the hate stares. Like, no, Mom, that was your reality. But I have an opportunity to do something different, and I'm going to make this happen. So, and there are a lot of working writers out there. So, I resent the fact that, certain people, try to put you into certain holes, saying, oh, you should do this, you should do that. But this feels right. And just change the name of my new production company to Gorilla Grip Productions, because my children, after learning to be the scrappy, hustling entrepreneur entertainers that they're destined to be, with Daddy's guidance and tutelage, they're going to feel that they have a gorilla grass grip on the world's balls forevermore. So here we go, folks. The stay-at-home dad, nanny, hater. Can you star and deliver laughs in my father-son cooking show, Double Talk with Chef Samuel, in whatever your native language is? I didn't think so. Never. Next. Can I get a holla for some holla? Shana Tovava. Stay-at-home dad, nanny, hater. So you're cool with loving an offshoot of white privilege, Maria? I couldn't help but notice your Bernie for President bumper sticker. Stay-at-home dad, nanny, hater. For $700 a week, you play pretend mommy with a son I've spent more or less every waking moment with for almost 2 years straight. You think I'm tired of being looked up to as a supreme comedy god? Stay-at-home dad, nanny, hater. So what experience do you have empowering children to kick ass in life on a full-time basis again? I wouldn't consider getting kids to sleep at 8:30 every night worth the expense. I have my mother-in-law once a year for that. I love what my wife says whenever my son Samuel cries in front of my mother-in-law. She says, Samuel's suffering from separation anxiety. That might be the case, babe, but your mom's forced, stupid, foreign Ukrainian accent isn't doing her favors, babe. Stay-at-home dad, nanny, hater. My wife is artistic. She used to juggle fire during her rave days. True story. And she's a pretty good photographer too. She claims she could have been professional. You could follow her Instagram feed for that and be the judge. But she is very talented in that realm. I love her very dearly. Especially after last night when she goes, you need to be your own boss. Can I get an amen? I said amen. So my wife is artistic, but doesn't play too much with our kids according to my daughter. Can you teach my daughter how to pay? Let's start that over again. Stay-at-home dad, nanny, hater. My wife is artistic, but doesn't play too much with our kids according to my daughter. Can you teach my daughter how to paint like Frida without fighting the urge to stroke her hair ever so gently? Excuse me. Burp's coming. Stay-at-home dad, nanny, hater. So I'm paying $700 a week for you to molest my gorgeous son with kisses because you can't contain yourself? Just so I can work upstairs in my office away from pure, adorable goodness? I love that one. Stay-at-home dad, nanny, hater. Do you see your imaginary daughter's first grade teacher professing her wish to clone more of her? She'd have to have a semblance of a personality and a caring, empowering father for that, wouldn't she? Next, never! Stay-at-home dad, nanny, hater. Are you prepared to lecture my son on the importance of wrapping his power tool in the event of being manhandled by a perfect 10 who already wrote a consent poundage form in person? I didn't think so, Olga. By the way, this is my solution to avoid all charges of sexual harassment from a male perspective. Only work remote, and to insist that your boss starts every video conference Skype meeting with, all men, raise your hands up high and keep them up high where I can see them. Ha! Stay-at-home dad, nanny, hater. I think of deep-rooted aggravations for comedy gold to be mined when I'm washing dishes. I also got my mother-in-law to share leftover potato dumplings from church. What's your counter? Exactly. I'm still waiting. Stay-at-home dad, nanny hater. We still haven't told my in-laws about raising our kids Jewish. Are you tempted to report us to the Gestapo, Heidi? Do you think Delaware's state slogan should be "Your Nazi gold is safe with us"? And in case you guys are wondering, folks, we've not told my in-laws about raising our kids Jewish, so if they do decide to listen to this podcast, which I don't think they do, and I haven't invited them to do so, cat's out of the fucking bag. So you never heard about Nazis, by the way, or the Klan when Obama was president. You ever notice that? You never heard about Nazis, or the emergence of the Klan when Obama was president. The grand dragon of the Klan hid under his sheets in bed for 8 years to press, I guess. Trump is the new Hitler. And what, Inglourious Bastards 2? Besides, relax, people. Trump is the new Hitler. Relax. Sequels never live up to the original. But Piers Morgan would make a colorless Eichmann. I'll give you that much. Nazi this, Nazi that. W's grandfather did business with the Nazis. Yet now W paints pictures of Maine vets scarred for life, all because of his bullshit war, in search of weapons of mass destruction to only enrich his boys at Halliburton. How about redirecting some justifiable hate in W's direction resistors? Resist this. So this is my candid speech about Obama because he's slipping and falling. I can't shut up. And this is it, folks. There's no more Obama jokes on this podcast. I'm not even talking about Trump very much longer. Did not get into this podcast. I mean, I started my podcast to repurpose my jokes that are being shadow banned, but I really wanted to create a community for do-it-all dads. I wanted to sell do-it-all dad pride. I do want to put a spotlight on the remote work movement and how that's benefited fathers and their children beneficiaries. So, that's still a focal point. But sometimes I just can't shut up. And, you're not going to hear these jokes on Kimmel. And I hate the fact that freaking some old Jew Michael Savage is like the only voice out there that has like a semblance of a personality that's able to combat the hysterical, narrative. And I'm not going to use especially like the left, the right, blah, blah, blah. I dislike most of them immensely. But again, folks, Trump is a scrappy native New Yorker from Queens, like myself, him much more so than me. And I firmly believe, he became president because he realized that our country was headed in the wrong direction and he wanted to make us prosperous and more secure again. Plain and simple, nothing more, nothing less. And I truly believe he became more spiritual while barnstorming the heartland in his Gulfstream jet. And the country's doing well, and the country's in hysteric right now for the resistors because they can't handle it, because they truly are jealous haters, and they're not as smart and as evolved as they thought they were in the first place. And they must really resent the heartland so-called hicks that did vote for him. But, again, just a reality check here, folks. 64 million voted for Obama, maybe like 63 for Trump. So, what are you trying to say here, folks? That, all of a sudden, these 63 million Americans are in the middle of a born-again white supremacist crisis? Yeah, I don't think so. So here we go. This is it. We're done after this. I'm no more, and I'm not involved in Twitter anymore. And I just want to be very clear. Shadow banning is a real thing. Every time I get on a hot streak on Twitter and I start bashing Obama excessively, boom, I get the notification. And it says, well, you're not aware of our Twitter rules and regulation. It doesn't say hate speech, but all hate speech, that sort of bullshit, logic or, designation, all that means is that you are making fun of a fake news prophet hero, like fake news for Colin Kaepernick or Barack Obama, or you're making fun of a minority like Hillary Hammertime Cankles, if you're going to call a female a minority, even though freaking females are the reason why you even have an existence of stay-at-home dads in the first place right now, because they're making more money than ever before. So, you figure that out for yourselves. So here we go, folks. My candid speech about Obama, because he's slipping and falling and can't shut up. Obama getting credit for Dow Jones highs. It's like Nino Brown getting props for getting Pookie off crack and welfare. Can I get a holla for some holla? And Kanye would have really dazzled me if he would have like came out and like Kimmel and said, "So Jimmy, who do you think Obama hates more, blacks or Jews?" I'm gonna go with Jews. Let me rephrase that. I mean, like why else would he give all that new gift money to Iran, right? So I mean, but you know what? I'm just being a paranoid Jew here, Jimmy. I'm sure he just gave all that money to Iran in the middle of the night on marked bills because he just wanted to have Iran use that money to create overseas jobs for Build-A-Bear to make the economy less reliant on the sale of hair removal products for the sloppy third Kardashian sister. Nah. So obviously, Kim is the sexiest of the bunch. She would, as far as I'm concerned, she's at the top of the porcupine puss food chain, if you will. And God bless Kim for getting that woman. For speaking on the behalf of the woman that was in jail for some extremely severe drug law, and Trump got her out after Kim had pleaded her case. So God bless Kim for that. But here we go. Let's get back to some more Fast and Furious Obama bashing because this is it. We're done after that. Here we go. Certainly hasn't helped my employment prospects, but I don't really give a fuck at this point because we're gonna make money here on the blogging, writing, from home, and through the show. Double Talk with Chef Sam. But we're done with politics. We're done talking about the podcast. If I feel that passionate about it, I'll fucking do these jokes on stage eventually. If I ever have the time. Here we go. Obama gave a candid speech on the current state of U.S. politics. Obama says, "Can we start obsessing about my witty appearances on Kimmel again?" Obama gave a candid speech on the current state of U.S. politics. Obama says, "Sure. Valerie Jarrett was the main author of my new gifting deal to Iran. But just because she lives with me, Roseanne, as my in-house advisor, it doesn't make her my Arabian horse whisperer, for Christ's sake." Great joke. Obama gave a candid speech on the current state of U.S. politics. Obama says, "Baby boomer arrogance never dies, no matter how many Americans voted against my race identity politics." Obama gave a candid speech on the current state of U.S. politics. Black Americans have 99 problems, yet a 35% approval rating among them proves Trump isn't one of them. Obama gave a candid speech on the current state of U.S. politics. He said, "Illegals aren't getting Cory Booker elected either." Obama gave a candid speech on the current state of U.S. politics. He said, this is what he said. Obama says, "Make my fake news legacy great again. Can I get a holla for some holla?" One more Obama joke for the road, because it's a beauty. And before you know it, Thanksgiving will be here. This is Barack Obama hosting Thanksgiving dinner with the Obama family this year, 2018. Here we go. This is Obama. "Malaya, you barely touched your tofurkey." "Daddy, why did you let me intern for Harvey Weinstein again?" "Malaya, your mother Michelle was on the set with you constantly, and that fat Jew couldn't pin down Michelle if he tried." This is Doodle Dad Your podcast, dad-friendly entertainment for you and me. Controlling our kids to comedy can make our kids great again. Can't wait for the launch of Double Talk with Chef Samuel. And I just want to make my pledge to my three gorgeous children, Matilda Rose Kornbluth, Arthur Morrison Kornbluth, Samuel Teddy Kornbluth, that I'm going to make the best of what's around. And calling you the best is like the biggest undersell of the millennium. Because, again, you inspire Daddy to bring out the best of his love. And I'm going to make sure that we are all, this year, this is going to be almost a true leader in corporate America. Make sure that they set high goals and that they bring the most out of their employees by believing in them and by not only believing in them, but for being completely committed to maximizing like their God-given talents. And all you guys are way more talented than Daddy and Mommy combined, and I'm gonna prove it to you because we're going viral, bitches. I'll talk to you guys soon.